Hello, it's Randall Craig here. Today we're going to be talking about finding the motivation when it doesn't seem to be there. I'm going to give you three scenarios. For example, you're putting off work on a key project, or it's tough to make a decision, or sometimes you just don't have the energy at the end of the day to exercise, for example, especially if it's a hard one. So what kind of strategies can you do? Because sometimes you're not feeling that motivated. Well, let's take the first one, putting off working on a key project. Here's some ideas. Why not set some hour-by-hour goals? Why don't you slice the watermelon one step at a time? No one can eat one all at once. So if you slice it and eat it slice by slice, it's a lot easier. You can get help. You can delegate. You don't have to do everything yourself. And sometimes when you don't feel comfortable doing something, asking somebody else for help is a great way to actually get started on it. You could change location. Sometimes you don't feel motivated in a particular physical space. So changing to a special location just while you need to do that task is a good way to motivate yourself to do it. Another way is to remove some distractions. In the olden days it was faxes. Now it's emails and instant messages and cell phone calls, etc. Turn all of that off so you can focus on the thing that you need to do. And finally, when you're done, give yourself a reward. That way next time you've got a difficult job that you're putting off, you can look forward to something that you can give yourself for a job well done. The second scenario is when you find it tough to make a decision one way or the other. And to answer this one, you've got to look at the reasons why you're finding it difficult. One of the things that you might find is that you don't have enough information, in which case you should gather some extra information. Perhaps you might need to wait a little bit of time, but figure out what it is that you need in order to make the decision. Then go after that. You'll find it a lot easier. Set a deadline. Sometimes we don't get things done because we don't know when they need to be done by. So if you set a deadline, even if it's one that's only in your own mind, that can help you out on that one. Seek feedback. You know, if you can't make the decision by yourself, maybe somebody else can give you some perspective. Another thing that you can do, and this is a little bit more complex, but it's very worthwhile, is to model different scenarios. So, for example, what would happen if you made a decision one way versus the other? Who would be affected? What would they think? What would their motivations be? What would the results be from the various different stakeholder groups? Once you've modeled those two scenarios, what that does is possibly remove some of the fear that making a wrong decision engenders. The third scenario is when you don't have enough energy, say at the end of the day, to do some exercise. This is something that probably more people fit in this category than most. Well, one thing you can do is you can change the schedule. So instead of doing exercise at the end of the day when you feel that you don't have energy, try doing it at the very beginning. What you can do is you can use your lunch break and just to walk around the block, something as simple as that. Even if you can't get to the gym, that might help. If you're into animals, get a dog. One that needs you to walk them in the early morning and when you get back from work at the end of the day. You know, because that dog is relying on you, that you'll definitely do at least a little bit of exercise. And on the same category, what you can do is you can ask a friend to work out with you. If it's a game like tennis, it's all the much better because you know that you're going to rely on your friend and your friend relies on you. But any kind of team sport, for that matter, would do. If you don't have a friend that you can ask, you can hire a personal trainer. Not only might that person might help you exercise more efficiently, but because there's that commitment that you made to a particular person, you don't want to let them down, and that'll actually help along the way. You might want to try something new, and that might make it more exciting to you. The other thing that you should remember, particularly on this one, is that the more exercise that you do, the more energy you have. And the more sedentary you are, the less energy that you have. So sometimes it's just a question of taking that first step. And you'll find it very rejuvenating. You will have the energy to continue on more than just that first step or two. So that's where we are. Merely saying, I'm going to do it, won't work. You have to set yourself a plan, and perhaps using some of these ideas might help. This is Randall Craig for Pine Tree Brain Trust and the Make It Happen tip sheet, and I hope you enjoyed this session.